Read Option Podcast, episode 11. We're talking everything regarding the draft, including our previous mock draft from our last episode. We're also going to do some fantasy pops or flops, and we have some trivia for you at the end. Enjoy.
Dalton steps up. It's complete. Remarkable.
Cut back outside right 30, 35, 40. Down the far sideline. He's still moving. It's going to go.
Pass is caught. Diggs. Sideline. Touchdown. Unbelievable.
We've made it past the draft. We've done it. The draft is over. The picks are in. And honestly, I thought it was really fun. I've never sat down and done as much research as I've done this past draft as we did. More in the past, I guess you would say. Because I was never really super interested in it. I was just like, whatever, draft. We'll see who the Seahawks get. I never watched the combine, never really cared about any of that. But because we started this little project, we had to. And we had to sit down and analyze players and see who was going in the first round. And we did a pretty good job, I think, of picking who was going in the first and second round at the very least.
And I agree. Much like you, I was really only concerned in years past with who the Seahawks were looking to take, who they were going to botch not taking when they were available. But this, much like fantasy football, kind of expands your horizons because you're forced to pay attention to other players that maybe you wouldn't care about because they're on your fantasy football team. This really gave us an opportunity to kind of do a deep dive, at least in the first couple rounds. I don't know anybody from 5th round, 6th round, 7th round, that type of thing.
But we did at least kind of do maybe a little bit of research after we saw the picks that came out in the 5th, 6th, 7th rounds, because we were like, I wonder why this team chose them or what Seattle's thinking or anything like that. So I think you're right. Like, that's a good example of fantasy football where you're kind of forced to pay attention to other things.
Sure.
This podcast has kind of forced us to pay attention to what's happening outside of just the Seattle Seahawks.
Sure. Because as we both will acknowledge, we are not the smartest football guys on the planet.
No. And TikTok comments have let us know that many times.
They certainly have. Yeah. However, we watched the game. We certainly watch most of the NFL games, or at least we stay on top of them.
Yeah.
And so
scores and stats and whatnot.
Sure. And being able to just kind of do that deep dive into the combine and some of the pro days and really get down and dirty with 20 or 30 different websites that break everything down. Okay, what's a team looking for? What do they have a need for? What is this player? What did they show? What did we see? It kind of really was a fun exercise to sort of wrap all that together.
Yeah. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a little head-to-head. We did a mock draft last week, and going into the draft, we were very confident that I was very confident that I had good picks, and I think you had some confidence, but also you threw a lot of audibles in there because you had a bunch of trades.
I was more aggressive.
So you weren't really sure what was really going to happen.
Sure, I had fun with it.
But we're going to go through and basically go head to head and see who got the most points out of the draft in terms of who we picked. So the way that it works is... Go ahead.
Yeah, so the way we kind of broke down the scoring was if you picked the right player for the right team at the exact right spot, you got 2 points because you nailed it.
That's a green light.
That's a green light. If you got the player completely wrong for the team, I don't care what spot it was, you got a red light, and that was 0.
Yeah, so like if you picked a wide receiver and then the team actually ended up picking an offensive tackle, that's a red light.
Yes.
That's nowhere near close to what they were picking.
Correct.
Doesn't matter if it was at the right spot or not.
So where we kind of gave ourselves a little wiggle room was if we were in the right ballpark. So, for example, if a team was looking for an offensive lineman and maybe we predicted J.C. Latham, but they took Amarius Mims instead, we gave ourselves 1 point for knowing what the team needed. And also, if we picked outside of the normal draft order, so if you said, oh, so-and-so team was going to trade up to take a player, and maybe they got that player where they normally were, we also gave ourselves a point for picking right player, wrong spot.
Yeah.
And then we gave ourselves a point for wrong player, but right position.
Right position,
Sort
yeah.
of thing. So we
Yep.
sort of fudged it a little bit because let's face it, we have no idea what these coaches are looking for. Why would one coach like a Marius Mims over a Barton or a Rosengard, or why would they like a Brian Thomas Jr. over a Donnie Mitchell? Or so we don't know what they saw. We just knew that they needed, say, a wide receiver or an offensive lineman. So we gave ourselves a point on that.
Yep.
So without further ado, why don't we jump into it and get that covered head to head?
Sure. All right, so we'll go pretty quick through these first
Sure.
ones because they were obvious for us, I think, when we chose them, and they were obvious for most people.
Correct.
So Caleb Williams went to the Bears. That's a 2-pointer for, I think, both of
Both of us.
Washington Commanders took Jaden Daniels. That's a 2-pointer for both of us.
Correct.
Patriots took Drake May. That's a 2-pointer for both of us.
Correct.
And the Cardinals took Marvin Harrison Jr. That's a 2-pointer for both of us.
That
So
is
we're
correct.
tied then at 8
That
to
is
start it off.
correct.
What threw kind of an audible into this draft for us? I think a lot of people realized when Justin Herbert lost all his targets, they were not going to go Joe Alt. They were going to shift and go with a wide receiver, and they didn't.
Somebody to throw to.
They didn't shift. They went Joe Alt at 5, did they not?
Correct. Yes.
So that I got that wrong. I had Roma Dunze going
So
to the Chargers.
I had the Vikings trading up and taking McCarthy there.
And we'll get to him in a sec.
Correct. So yeah.
Well,
so,
let's do it right now. So they did take McCarthy.
So I did get McCarthy right, but they didn't take him until the 10th pick.
Yes, 10th, which we'll get to in a second.
So I get myself a point
get
there.
yourself 1 point for that.
Correct.
Sixth pick, I think we both got this right.
Correct.
New York Giants took Malik Neighbors. That was a pretty obvious one.
Correct. So 1A to Harrison's, 1 Neighbors, definitely correct.
Now Tennessee, we both had Joe Alt going to Tennessee. No, in our mock draft.
Correct.
And they did not take Joe Alt because the Chargers took Joe Alt, but
they took JC
Latham, and that's going to be a 1-pointer for both of us. That's a yellow. That's a yellow light.
That's correct.
Now, number 8.
Yeah.
This was so weird.
What
The hell? All right,
and we're going to talk
about it in a little bit.
Yeah.
But the Falcons had the 8th pick, and they did not take Byron Murphy like I had predicted.
And I had Dallas Turner. We both went defense on that. They went Penix Jr.
They picked Penix Jr.
And
which
so
is
we're
crazy.
both red lighted on
that. The Bears went next, and I had them taking Dallas Turner. Who did you have them taking?
So I had the Chargers bouncing into that spot and taking Roma Dunze. Roma Dunze went to the Bears at number 9.
So you had the right.
So I had the right player, wrong team.
So you didn't give yourself a point.
I didn't give myself a point for that.
And I had them taking Dallas Turner. I give myself a red light for that.
Yep.
Jets. This is weird
I think
too.
we both had Brock Bowers.
We both had Brock
going
Bowers
there.
going there. Most people had Brock Bowers going there. And who'd they take? Fashanu?
That is correct.
They took Fashanu. So I get a red light for that.
Fashanu.
0 points.
Yep.
Then at 11,
that's where the Vikings.
The Vikings.
I said 10. I'm sorry.
Yes. So the Vikings actually did pick at 11. And I got 1 point for that because they did take the right. Sorry, no, they didn't take 11. The New York Jets went to 11, right?
Oh, that's right. They
flip-flopped. So the Vikings actually took it 10, but they did take JJ McCarthy, and I had a yellow light. I took a 1 point for that.
I'm confused.
Because they did have the right player.
Correct. And I'm completely wrong. I had Leatu Latu going to the Bears.
You had Leatu Latu going to the Bears?
Yeah, as a trade with the Chargers. So.
Interesting, yeah.
Completely
So this is
blew
where
that one.
this is where it's getting a little confusing because you had so many trades, and then
did.
we actually did have trades in the draft.
I did.
This one, you thought I was a little crazy for this. Bo Nix going to the Broncos at 12. You had them taking Bo Nix.
I had them taking Bo Nix,
but traded out of the 12 spot.
Down at number
probably like 20 something, no?
Yeah, 22.
Yeah.
What's odd is that I had both of these flip-flopped. So I had the Eagles trading up to number 12 and Broncos trading down to 22, but I had both players correct for the teams that they.
Oh yes, I remember that.
So
you
I
did.
had
so you got a 1 pointer for both.
Quinyon, yep, and I got a 1 pointer for the Broncos.
So that actually cancels mine out because I got 2 for the Broncos and I got 0 for the Eagles. So we'll get to that in a second.
Yep.
Though. The Raiders, I believe, the Raiders went at 13.
Correct.
they realized, well, but Brock Bowers is still on the board. Might as well grab him.
Yeah, interesting.
I had them going Penix Jr., but the Falcons took him. So
And I had Troy Fontanu going there because I thought they needed offensive line help. We both went red lines right there.
Yep, red light there.
Yep.
The Saints, I got this one right. The Talisi Fuaga.
You nailed it
I nailed
right
that
on the
one.
head. So I had Olu Fushano going to the Saints, so I got a yellow light on that one.
Yeah.
Offensive line, wrong guy.
Yeah. The Colts, I had them taking a cornerback, Terry and Arnold,
Same here.
and they ended up taking Leatu Latu.
Yes, so I think we both get a red light on that.
This one you get a 2-pointer for.
Boom.
Seattle Seahawks ended up taking Byron Murphy because he dropped all the way down.
And
to
this was
us.
really wishful thinking on my
I
part
know.
because I loved him and I was hoping that he would by some miracle fall to them.
Yeah.
And he did. And they, for once, opportunity matched up with execution, and they actually took the guy that they were supposed to take.
Yeah. And we got a big grade for that because that was a huge draft pick.
Absolutely.
So the Jaguars were supposed to draft at number 17.
Correct.
But the Vikings traded up and they took Dallas Turner.
Yes.
So I'm actually going to take a point for that, but we'll talk a little bit about that when we get there. They were supposed to draft at 23, and I had them taking Jared Verse, but they took Dallas Turner. So
Yes.
because it was a defensive end, I take a 1-pointer for that.
Correct. And I had the Jags staying put going Nate Wiggins on that. So
You
I
were
got
completely wrong
I got
on
a
that.
red light on
Red
that.
light on that. Okay, so at 18, the Bengals took Amarius Mims.
Yep.
And I had them going Olu Fushanu.
And I had him going J.C. Latham, so we're
So we
both
both
going
get
to
a
grab
point
a
for that.
yellow point.
Now, the Rams ended up going Jared Verse at 19.
I had that one picked straight up.
I had them going Leatu Latu, so I'll
You
take
got
1
a
point for that.
Son of a gun.
Troy Fatanu went to the Steelers.
I had Brian Thomas Jr. there. I thought they were
You thought they were going
really
wide
be
receiver.
looking
See,
for wide receiver help.
I had Zach Frazier, a center, so I took a
Yep.
point for that because he was an offensive lineman.
Correct.
Not necessarily a tackle because he was a center, but
need
but I
offensive
take
line
I
help.
take the
Yep.
1 pointer for that.
Agreed.
So then Chop Robinson went to the Dolphins.
I
Who did
had-
you have the Dolphins taking?
So I had Jerzan Newton, so I gave myself a point for that because their interior line, edge rusher, I was thinking defensive line anyway, so I gave myself a point for that.
So do I take a point for that? Because I thought it was worth taking a point, but I took a defensive tackle, not a defensive end in Chris
Yeah.
Jenkins. I'll
Yeah.
take a point for that. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
absolutely. That's what I did.
Cool,
Jerzan
cool,
Newton's
cool,
a-
cool, cool, cool,
cool, cool, cool, cool, cool, cool, cool,
I don't know how he does it so fast. All right, the Eagles, they go at 22.
And this is we talked about mine already.
So
where I
you actually
flip-flopped.
got him correct, the draft pick correct, right?
Yep, so I
Quinyon
took one
Mitchell
for that.
at 22. Quinyon Mitchell. I had them going Jackson Powers Johnson at center because I
Yep.
thought they were going to try to replace Travis Kelce, or not Travis Kelce, Jason Kelce.
Jason Kelce.
And I was wrong completely. I got a red light for that. So then we get to 23. The Jaguars, like we had said, they traded down for Brian Thomas Jr.
Yep.
And I had them at 17 taking Braden Fisk. That was a reach.
Yep.
They didn't take a defensive tackle. They took a wide receiver. So I get 0 points for
And
that.
I had an offensive lineman going to the Chargers, Tyler Guyton. Completely wrong on that one as well.
Oh, because you had the trade.
Yeah, I had the trade.
Yeah. All right. So then we got at 24, the Lions actually traded up.
Yep.
They took Terry and Arnold. I had the Lions at 29 taking Quinyon Mitchell, so I think I'd take a point for
Give
that.
yourself a point.
And who did you have the Lions taking?
I
Offensive lineman?
had the Cowboys still at 24, right?
Yeah.
Because they were originally at 24. I had
Yes.
them taking Amarius Mims.
You had the Cowboys taking Amaris. Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah. Well, they ended up taking Tyler Guyton, so you get a point
Correct.
for that.
I got a point for that one because right
position, wrong person.
Wrong spot.
Yep. Then we got the Packers at 25, took Jordan Morgan. That one was a little interesting because I thought they were going to take J.C. Latham, but he was already off the board.
I had them going defense with Cooper DeJean, and I got a lot of reds for the next 6-7 picks.
So I had them taking J.C. Latham, so right spot, wrong position, or wrong player rather.
Yep.
So I got a point for that. And then this was a big one for me. I had the Bucks taking Graham Barton at 26, and they took Graham Barton.
Good call all the way down that low.
That was
That's
a weird one,
nice.
yeah.
I had them going Chop Robinson. I had them going defense. Completely wrong. Another
Mm-hmm.
red light.
So the Cardinals ended up trading. Did they trade up? It looks
No.
like No, they
I
didn't.
don't think
trade.
they did.
Okay, so the Cardinals ended up going Darius Robinson he's an edge rusher, and I had them going Chop Robinson. So
Yeah.
right last name and right position.
You give yourself a point and a half for that.
I'll take the 1 point for that. Who did you have the Cardinals going?
I had him going Kool-Aid McKinstry, so defense,
wow.
but that's still a red light because it was not. And Darius Robinson is not somebody I even thought was going to make the first round.
I didn't think
myself.
so either, but I did think he looked good at the combine. So not a first rounder, but I thought maybe he would go in the second round.
But doesn't he play Missouri? Oh,
Plays in Missouri, yeah, but he looked good, so I
Okay.
thought maybe.
Fair enough.
Then the Chiefs traded up to the Bills spot, I believe, right?
Yep.
At 28, they took X Worthy.
Yeah. And
You
I
got a point for that because you predicted that.
I called him, and we'll get to that.
Yeah,
but,
we'll get to that. I
but
get 0 points for that because the Bills weren't even in the first round on that.
correct.
Then we got 29. The Cowboys took Tyler Guyton at 29,
They
and I had
did.
them taking Amarius Mims.
And
So
I
I'll
had-
take the point for Amarius
For
Mims
the offensive
for the
lineman.
offensive
So I had
lineman.
the Lions still down there, going Graham Barton
Oh yeah.
instead.
So you got an X
So,
for that.
Yep.
I actually had the Ravens taking Tyler Guyton right after 29 at 30, and they ended up taking Nate Wiggins. So I get an X for that.
Yeah, I had Jordan Morgan there. I thought they were going offensive line. Clearly incorrect.
Clearly incorrect. Yeah. 31, the Niners going Kool-Aid McKinstry for me, and they ended up going Ricky Pearsall.
Pearsall.
Pearsall. Apparently a guy that a lot of people thought was good, but it wasn't on my radar for some reason.
Wasn't on my radar either. I had the Niners going Roger Rosengarten, and nope, got nothing.
Nope. And then the Panthers traded up into the 32nd spot and took one of our favorite players in the
Yes.
draft, Xavier Legette,
And that's funny because they told him they were going to take him.
and he didn't even
And
bother
he-
showing up to the draft, did he?
No, and he wanted Carolina because he played South Carolina. He
Oh,
wanted them
yeah,
to
yeah.
take him, and they made a freaking savvy move by trading up into the first round.
Yeah, to take him.
to steal him. Yeah,
Totally, yeah. Because the Bills could have got him.
Agreed.
The Bills definitely could have got him in the second round.
Agreed.
And then who did they take in the second round? I don't remember.
Who's
I
that, the
think
Bills?
Yeah, the Bills. They took.
I think I had
Keon,
Mitchell.
No, they took Keon Coleman.
Keon Coleman, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's our mock draft.
Yeah, so what'd you end up with?
So I ended up with 28 points.
I got 22. You clearly my predicted drafts clearly messed with my
your
point total.
Your trades didn't help you at all because you
No.
didn't get any trades right, and we had kind of set up the draft, so the point system, so that if you got the trade and the player and the team right, you would have got 3 points.
Yes.
But you got none
I
of
got
those
none
throughout
of
the
them.
whole
I got
entire
nothing.
draft. So I'll win. I win on that one.
You got me.
But again, I also had kind of a safer draft, so it makes sense that I won.
So interesting kind of
Factoid.
first round. Yeah, who doesn't make the first round cut? No running backs taken in the first round, which I think we kind
don't
of
think
expected.
I don't think did any running backs make the second round?
I think didn't Corum go second
I
round
think
or
Corum
third
went in
round?
the third round.
We'd have to fact check that because I didn't.
I
go
got it
down
right
that
here,
far.
actually. I got it right here. Blake Corum went. Nope, don't got it right here. Never mind.
Okay, we'll
Thought I
circle
had
back
it,
to that.
But I believe he went in the third round, which is crazy.
Okay.
And I don't think a running back went in the second round, but we'll fact check it.
So who doesn't make the first round cut? No running backs.
Yep.
Keon Coleman.
Yep.
Some of your linebackers, Edge Cooper, Peyton Wilson.
Who we didn't think were going in the first
Didn't
round.
think they were
anyways.
going anywhere, but they're mentionable. Braden Fisk, Lad McConkey, and Tavondre Sweat, all guys that could have crept into the first round, depending on teams' evaluation and need. But that's
Man, Braden Fisk, getting him in the second round is a steal.
we're going to
That's
talk
a
about
steal.
that
We'll talk
here
about
shortly.
him. All right, so let's get into some actual draft talk. We're going to go through the picks that we just talked about, and maybe just touch on a few of them
Sure.
and kind of dissect some
Some
of them.
notes we got.
So the very first thing I have is not safe for work. We're going to go Michael Penix Jr. What the fuck?
WTF? And it's the first point that I have. So Cousins has a 4-year deal. Okay.
Yeah, for $180 million.
With almost 100 of it guaranteed.
Yeah.
All right. Although he is 35, I think that's the only thing. So maybe
Michael Penix is 35 too.
So I have, and Penix is already 23.
Yeah, he might be
So-
24.
You are looking at potentially, if Cousins plays out his entire contract, that your first round quarterback is not playing until he's 27 or 28.
It's crazy.
Like, how long are you going to sit behind somebody? Now, understood. Unless he has some type of Tom Brady constitution,
Yeah,
probably not going to play out the last full year of his contract.
You're
But
probably
even
right.
so, this is, Sam Howell is younger than Michael Penix Jr.
that's crazy.
So, and he's already got a
He's already
year
got a
of
year
starting
starting,
under his belt
That's nuts.
and his rookie year.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm with you. WTF.
Yeah,
I don't understand the logic
They
there.
took their QB for the future, but I don't think they should have done it with Michael Penix. They should have waited a year, waited for the next draft, and seen what they could do after that.
Dude, they probably had 2 or 3 drafts they could have waited. I mean,
Yeah,
if somebody dropped to them or if they had one of the top 2 picks, okay, maybe, but at that point you already know that you have Cousins. Like, I don't understand the philosophy.
yeah.
Why sign
Cousins didn't either.
Cousins, right?
Kirk Cousins was like, "What? What did he just do?"
Yeah, why sign Cousins? So if Cousins was on a 1-year deal,
That makes sense.
okay, Penix sits behind him, kind of the way now Geno Smith is clearly not Kirk Cousins.
Yeah,
But you got Geno Smith, in the last year of his contract, and you got Sam Howell coming up. Maybe there's a graceful handoff there.
sure.
But Penix is going to be almost done with his rookie contract by the time Cousins is
Yeah.
finished with his.
Be hilarious.
Makes no sense.
if he fulfills his whole rookie contract and Kirk Cousins plays his full 4 years.
Yeah,
and then Penix goes to
Then
another
Penix
team.
goes to free agent. Like, that doesn't
That
make
would
sense.
be so funny.
That makes no sense.
Oh my gosh. So one thing that I thought was notable, the Chargers really confused some of us because we were like, who the hell are you going to throw the ball to? Like, yes, Joe Alt's a great pick, but you don't have anyone to throw to throw to. But they snagged Lad McConkey in the second round, who's actually kind of a steal in the second round because he's a solid receiver and he looked really good at the combine. And now they have their guy to protect Justin Herbert and a receiver that could definitely go for 1,000 yards.
And they picked up a Jim Harbaugh favorite, Junior Colson, who was the leader of the Michigan defense. That was one of the top defenses in the country last year.
Yeah.
They picked him up. So you got your stud offensive lineman, you got your linebacker that's a leader of your defense, and you got a guy who's probably a wide receiver number 2.
Yeah, but could be a 1 if he really comes into his own.
Maybe Herbert's going to probably make him look better than
Yeah.
he is.
Definitely.
So maybe do you try and make an in-season trade for a wide receiver somewhere along the way?
Yeah.
Zay Jones just got cut from the Jaguars. He had 1,000 yards a couple years ago. So you may try and piece something together around him. But I kind of like what the Chargers did. You got to protect your quarterback.
Yeah.
And
Not wrong.
you have a guy that looks like he might be a generational talent.
Yeah.
Granted, nobody knows how these guys are going to pan out, but you see a guy that is regarded as the number 1 head and shoulders above
And came out of
everybody
Notre
else.
Dame, right?
Came out of Notre Dame, who their linemen are.
They
usually
make linemen over
studs.
there
Yes.
in the lab.
If I'm Justin Herbert, I'm going. Thank you, Joe Alt.
Yeah. Looking up about 10 feet above
Yeah.
you. So do you have any notes that you wanna touch on real quick?
So a couple teams that I really like, the Ravens, picking at 28 or 29, whatever. They got 2 very
I think
good.
it was 30.
Yeah, maybe down that low.
30.
They got 2 very good cornerbacks. They got Wiggins and they got
Wiggins.
Tampa,
Yep.
and also a good O lineman in Rosengarten.
Yeah.
So they benefited from this run on quarterbacks and this run on offensive linemen and this run on receivers because they didn't really need any of those guys. So I thought the Ravens did really well.
The Bears, I think they had a great draft. And I think we agree on this together. We've talked about it over the past few days. They're giving Caleb Williams a better shot to succeed than any quarterback they've given in the last 10, 15 years.
Absolutely.
So
maybe
they're-
ever.
maybe ever. Their offense, Rome Odunze, Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, DeAndre Swift, Caleb Williams. That's sick.
And Cole Kmet as your
And
safety
Cole Kmet.
valve.
Now, so you're talking about the Lions as like a San Francisco light.
Yep.
The Bears might be a Lions light. You know, they might have the third best offensive weapons in the league.
Dude, it changes the whole complexion of that NFC North.
Yeah,
the whole
100%.
complexion.
Yeah.
And I'm going to double down on my prediction. Caleb Williams, first Bears quarterback to throw for 4K and 30 touchdowns in the first 3 years. I'm doubling down. We'll circle back after we have like 4 zillion followers. We'll circle back 3 years from now and we'll revisit some of this.
All right.
So some of my other points,
Yeah.
Jets passing on Brock Bowers.
Dude, what the hell?
Wow.
That was very weird.
That's a head scratcher. Denver
Generational
taking
talent there.
potentially.
And a guy that was right in your hands. Everyone thought you were taking him.
So he is a wide receiver, a tight end, and a running back all rolled into one.
Yeah.
Because he did all that at Georgia and did it excellent.
Yeah.
So then you got Denver taking Bo Nix at 12. I'm confused why they didn't think that Bo Nix was going to drop to the second round, because anybody who needed a quarterback at that point already had a quarterback.
Including Atlanta.
Yes. So, and they had two.
Yeah, right.
So I'm confused that Denver felt they had to jump up and take Bo Nix that soon.
It was a little weird.
Yeah.
So another team that reached a bit was I think the Titans. They didn't know what to do after Joe Alt got taken from them, and they were like, "JC Latham, I guess." And I'm like, dude, you could have taken Troy Futani, you could have taken Fashani, you could have taken one of the 3 Fs, Fuaga. But I
think
thought
they were looking for that big giant monster, which JC Latham covers.
real, yeah. But I don't. I think it might have been a panic pick in my opinion.
I think they might have jumped the gun on it a little bit too much, but
because I had JC Latham going at the back of the first round,
correct.
and they took him at what, 7?
Yes. I know for a fact that they were looking to pair a big monster with their guard Skaronski,
Yeah.
who they took last year, I believe.
Sure.
So
They filled the role, but maybe traded or maybe took him a little early.
I think they were figuring Alt was going to fall to them, and when he didn't, they must have had Latham as like a solid backup to the alternative to being the
alternative being the alternative. JC Latham is the alternative.
Yeah.
I think the Vikings also had a really good draft. They got a steal getting JJ McCarthy
and Dallas Turner.
And Dallas Turner. That's a good draft.
Dude,
that's a good first round.
Could they be the 2023 Texans?
Oh, maybe.
Coming out with a stud quarterback and a stud edge rusher?
Yeah.
That changes the face of not
Now,
only your offense, but your defense as
JJ
well?
McCarthy wasn't nearly as good as CJ Stroud in college, was he?
No, but then again, a lot of people didn't think CJ Stroud's talent was going to translate to the NFL.
True, but the difference is that JJ McCarthy really didn't do it at all in college because he was never asked to.
Well, he won the college championship.
Sure, but he was never asked to do what CJ Stroud did, which was kind of be like a real bona fide leader in college. And people just thought, well, the talent isn't going to translate from college to the pros with Stroud, and it did. But with McCarthy, it's almost like we didn't even get to see the talent because Blake Corum ran for 28 touchdowns and your defense took the rest.
True. I will say he's walking into a pretty sweet situation.
He is.
With Justin Jefferson and
Addison
over there.
Yeah.
Oh, and TJ Hawkinson, if I'm not mistaken.
TJ Hawkinson, yeah.
I mean, so granted, their running back's a little weak, but McCarthy got targets to throw to over there.
Yeah, 100%.
No doubt. So I have a couple other points. The Colts getting Adonai Mitchell near the end of the second round. I think that's a nice pairing with Michael Pittman.
Yeah.
The Rams with Jared Verse, Fisk, Corum, and Cameron Kitchens.
Yeah.
Dude, what? What the heck?
They might be fighting for the top spot in the NFC West.
Dude, they just revamped their whole defense, man.
And they still got Stafford for at least a year or two.
You're killing me. And oh, by the way,
and Cooper Kupp and what's his face? One of our
Puka
favorites,
Nacua.
Puka.
Oh, and Kyron Williams. Their offense is looking deadly.
And now Kyron Williams is probably going to take most of the workload, but Blake Corum as the backup.
And we'll get to that in a little bit when we bounce down to fantasy flops or pops.
I initially had Raiders going, what the hell? Who is going to throw the ball to Brock Bowers? Then I realized that they have Minshew, and I think Minshew's probably going to be the starter there. He's going to win the starting job over O'Connell.
Most likely.
I was looking at the stats earlier. In fewer games, he has more touchdowns and fewer interceptions than Trevor Lawrence.
Who? Gardner Minshew?
Gardner Minshew.
He did have 1 year where he threw like 1 touchdown and 7 or 8 picks, something like that.
Yeah, but in fewer games, it's not the same amount of years or more years.
No, and
it's the same. So I think Trevor Lawrence has 50 games total in his career, and Gardner has like 39 or something like that.
Okay.
And he has like 58 touchdowns and 24 picks in his whole career. And apparently Trevor Lawrence is this stud quarterback that everyone thinks is a generational talent, and Gardner Minshew is a backup for the last 3 years. So to have that stat line, it really kind of shows like Gardner Minshew is a better quarterback than people give him credit for. We've talked about that.
Totally
before.
agree.
He could definitely win the starting job, and with Devontae Adams and Brock Bowers, I think he could do some damage.
And Jacoby Myers, who had 70 catches for almost 1,000 yards last year and almost double-digit touchdowns.
Yes.
And I think they picked up, did they pick up Aaron Jones as their running back?
They might have.
Who has been pretty solid over the last 4 or 5 years.
They might have.
So I think the Saints quietly had a nice draft. They got Fuaga, Kool-Aid McKinstry. They got Rattler, Spencer Rattler in the 4th, who can sit behind Derek Carr. Yep. And they got a guy by the name of Bub Means, who actually is a fairly underrated receiver over there.
I think I remember watching Bub Means in the combine.
Yeah. I think the Eagles had a very nice draft. They focused on defense. They got Quinion and Dijon and Jalix Hunt. So they're revamping their
Jalix
defense.
Hunt was one of my sleeper picks.
Yes.
I think he's gonna be good.
Correct. And the Steelers quietly had a nice draft. They got 2 excellent offensive linemen.
Yep, for
and I think they stole Peyton Wilson late in the 3rd round.
People had major concerns about his injuries, but if he can stay healthy, then he's a steal.
Yeah,
Definitely
agreed.
a steal.
They took a shot, and you know what? The 3rd round and after is the time when you take shots because you could get tremendous value from guys in the 3rd. You don't want to take a gamble on a 1st round pick, do you? You want your 1st round pick to hopefully be a bona fide starter stud, right? Yeah. The 3rd round is where you can kind of say, if this guy stays healthy, he could be really good, you know?
Yep. I think the Dolphins did a decent job mitigating the loss of Christian Wilkins and taking Chop Robinson.
Yeah, absolutely.
The Jaguars totally stole Brian Thomas Jr. out from under the Bills. I think that might have been the reason why the Bills traded out of the 1st round, because I think that might have been their guy.
I think they were waiting,
and they were like, we don't see anybody worth it. We'll take the extra draft pick.
Yep.
Because Brian Thomas Jr. is gone, and I can't believe Terry and Arnold dropped all the way to 24 to the Lions.
Oh my gosh,
that's a huge pickup for Detroit because they lost C.J. Gardner-Johnson, and I don't think the guy on the opposite side of him was any good.
Yep.
So picking up a cornerback like that is huge.
So the Titans, interesting. They drafted J.C. Latham and T'Vondre Sweat. That is 13 feet and 700 pounds of human.
I was just
going
to say that. Oh my God. And 600 pounds of that is T'Vondre Sweat.
Yeah. Well, Latham is 350.
I know.
So I thought
what's the blood alcohol content between them though?
Oh, dang. So
it's a 4.0 and it's just T'Vondre Sweat.
Oh man, he might want to be sweating out some of that alcohol. I know. So the Commanders with Daniels, Jerzan Newton, and Luke McCaffrey.
Yeah,
not bad.
Yeah.
So maybe for my last point, 2 points. The Chiefs with Xworthy. I freaking knew it.
Yep. You did know it.
I think I said a couple weeks ago, watch, Xworthy falls to like 32 and the Chiefs take him and the rich just get richer.
And he's a burner.
And all they had to do was slide up a couple spots and they got Xworthy.
They have the fastest player in the NFL mixed with the quarterback who can throw the farthest in the NFL.
Oh my gosh. I know this guy is a string bean. He is not anything. The only thing that is alike with him and Tyreek Hill is their speed.
Yeah.
Because he's a long, tall string bean and Tyreek Hill is
jacked as hell.
Built like a fire
He can
plug.
go over the middle. Xworthy cannot.
Probably not.
But what will happen is
But
they're
we
not
have-
they're
oh,
not
by
going
the
to
way,
need
we
him
have
to go over
Travis
the middle.
Kelce to go over the middle.
Yeah, so they have Travis Kelce going over the middle. They'll have X Worthy just run streak and fade routes,
man.
and he'll just catch balls where he's 13 yards off the cornerback.
it's
It won't
scary.
even matter.
Scary.
Another
God,
X, we got Xavier Leggett.
Yep.
Just barely squeezed into the first round at 32 overall to the Panthers. Finally giving, I think, Bryce Young a good, serviceable receiver outside of Adam Thielen.
Yeah.
And I think he might have been one of our favorite
Yes.
wide receivers coming out of the
I
combine.
really
coming out
liked
of the
watching
draft.
him at the combine. He's built like DK
Like
Metcalf,
DK. Yep.
but he's got nice soft hands. He's got decent speed, not breakaway speed
He
like
actually,
X-Worthy.
but he actually had he was the fastest runner of the gauntlet
Through the
So
drills.
game speed, he was the fastest
Right.
runner.
Maybe not
Now,
just straight
the
away like X-Worthy.
The 40, he was one of the slowest.
Yes.
But game speed, he was one of the fastest.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Bills, they still got a good wide receiver in Keon Coleman.
Absolutely.
I think he's going to be a solid replacement for Stephon Diggs. And then, Braden Fisk. He's going to torture Seattle for the next 12 to 15
So they got
years.
Jared Verse and Braden Fisk.
Yeah. How do you...
Granted.
What?
It took two guys to replace Aaron Donald.
Yeah, it's true. But Aaron Donald's one of the best defenders of all time. So it makes sense.
These two guys, son of a gun. That's a brilliant 1-2 combo.
But Braden Fisk is built very similarly to Aaron Donald, and he plays the same position.
plays the way Aaron Donald played.
Yes.
Now, does he have
So
the
maybe
talent?
he plays...
Probably not. have
Maybe
the
he's
talent.
Aaron Donald light, or maybe light.
Yeah,
But
Probably
even if you could,
light,
if you
but-
could replace 75% of Aaron Donald, you have a good defender.
that's no doubt about that.
So the last thing I want to mention is some notable drops. Peyton Wilson, we talked about him, dropped to the third round. Cooper Beebe dropped to the third round.
Oh, and I was hoping we would take him,
but we got
the guy we wanted anyway. So
yeah, we need a guard. Jalix Hunt also dropped to the third round, and Luke McCaffrey dropped to the third round. So those are some notable names that kind of you could have seen them going in the second round. Definitely not the first round, but at least the second round, and they dropped all the way down to the third.
agreed. My final note is, of course, the Seahawks.
Yes,
Byron Murphy, stud pick right there.
hell yeah.
And Christian Haynes, who started like 40-something straight games. Granted, he played at UConn. Not exactly a powerhouse football team, but they said the guy plays with a nasty attitude. He's a big dude. I love that draft pick. We got our cheaper replacement for Will Dissly in Turner as a blocking tight end. We know he's a blocking tight end. He only caught 20-something passes last year. We got Knight at a linebacker position, Tyrese Knight.
Well, people are saying he's going to be solid. I didn't know.
I didn't know much about him, but he played at UTEP, so that kind of explains it. They're on the left coast. I don't really.
Yeah, but
Well, no, they're not on the left coast.
There's some analysts saying like he's going to be good, or he has potential to be good.
And we got Pritchett as our cornerback who
They
ran.
said he is good.
He
They said he's
blazed
good.
at Auburn. He played for a team that wasn't all that great in the SEC, but he was regarded as being a higher pick than he actually went in like the fourth or fifth round.
Yeah, they were surprised that he dropped.
So that's all I have as far as notes go. All
right, cool.
But I do want to bring up one interesting point that I found out today.
All right.
Because I got to looking at teams that had first overall picks.
Yep. There's probably some similarities throughout the years, I'm assuming.
No, not really.
Really?
Do you know there's only 3 teams that have never had the number 1 overall pick in the NFL draft?
Only 3 teams. Should I try to guess some of them?
I don't think
At least one of them.
You can guess one of them.
Yeah, so Seattle, I don't think has ever had
Seattle's
the number
never
one.
had a number 1 pick.
We've always been mediocre.
Yes,
And-
if nothing else.
And then at one point we were good, and then we were back to mediocre again.
yeah.
Let's see.
So there's 2 other teams that have never had.
Let's see. I mean, the Patriots, I feel like, have had a first overall pick at some point. They sucked for years.
There's no reason you would probably think to guess either one of these teams.
Really?
So I'll just give them to you.
Not the Chiefs. The Chiefs have had a number 1 overall pick.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Dolphins.
Nope.
Oh, all right. Go ahead.
So Broncos and Ravens
Interesting.
have never had. So the Ravens,
That kind of makes a little more sense because they are usually good.
Well, also they came into the league in whenever 90 something or whatever.
Sure.
So they've
been good
team.
always, pretty much, no matter who's playing quarterback for them.
Yep. So that's
and the Broncos, interesting.
Yeah. So Broncos, Ravens, and Seahawks have never had the number 1 overall pick. They're only 3 teams.
That's interesting. All right, let's move into fantasy pops or flops. We're doing fantasy pops or flops rookie edition. So we're staying on track with the draft. Staying on track with people coming out of college. We're going to start off with Marvin Harrison Jr.
I don't see there is any way unless he gets hurt.
Or
potentially
Kyler gets hurt.
Kyler gets hurt, but he's got to be a super pop because he'll be the primary and the secondary and maybe the third target over there.
Yeah.
Their receiving core is very light.
Yes.
And Harrison Jr. seems like probably the next coming of Larry Fitzgerald for them. So I'm thinking he is going to be, in my opinion, stays healthy as long as the offense flows a little bit. And even if they don't, even if Kyler Murray only throws for 3,500 yards, I'm thinking Harrison Jr. has 1,200 of those.
Even when their offense really was weird and gross, when DeAndre Hopkins was there, he was still pretty much a stud.
Yeah, exactly. So, I think he's going to be the one and only target over there.
I have pro ready right out of college. As long as Kyler stays healthy, he's a lock.
Yeah, I think so.
Brock Bowers. I have him as a conditional pop. Pop if Minshew's the starter, flop if not.
Okay. I'm going to go flop.
You think he's going to split time? I
think you have Adams, Jacoby Myers, and you also have a second round pick in Michael Mayer. And now you have Gallup over there.
Recently, right? Last few days.
Even if the mustache starts every game.
You don't think he's going to throw enough yards and touchdowns to go around?
Is he a 4,000 yard, 30 touchdown guy? I see him more as like 3,500 with maybe 25 touchdowns.
Maybe with those weapons he might
potentially, but I think there's a lot of mouths to feed over there. Number one,
true.
And number two, I think if they give him the ball around the goal line, he might be able to, like a Deebo Samuel,
some rushing touchdowns.
Exactly. Okay. If he gets some rushing touchdowns, I think I could be wrong on that.
Yeah.
So he's a rookie tight end. We just saw Sam Laporta have a very good season.
Yeah.
With a lot of mouths to feed over there as well.
But also with a better quarterback.
A better quarterback, but also a lot of mouths to feed.
Sure.
And a stud running game over there. You had 2 stud running backs. Their offense just hummed.
Yeah.
I just don't see the Raiders offense humming like that. But so what would be a flop? What would be a pop for him? Would 50 catches with 500 yards, 4 receiving touchdowns?
Nah, that's not a pop because I think they took they took him 13th overall or something.
Right, but what if he throws 4 rushing touchdowns on top of that? Now you got 9 touchdowns out of maybe a 50 fantasy tight end.
Maybe 50 for 700 instead of 500 because he's a lot of potential, right? Like he's got high expectations.
Okay,
so it's not 50 for 500 is like that's kind of below expectations.
But what if he throws 4 rushing touchdowns in there and gives you 9 total touchdowns as a rookie tight end? That's almost double digit. What do you think?
I think that still might be a flop because he was 13th overall as a tight end.
Okay, fair enough.
His draft spot is like this guy better be a freaking stud.
Fair enough.
Or we wasted our money.
I got you.
All right, Ladd McConkey. I think he's going to pop.
I think he's going to pop as well. I think much like Harrison, there's no one else to throw to. And he is a stud QB.
He does. I have Justin Herbert will turn him into a star.
Correct.
So not only is he a good receiver, but he might become a great receiver because of Justin Herbert.
Yep. I think
Justin Herbert's going to throw him open a lot.
I'm on the same page as you are. I think he's popping.
Caleb Williams.
He has so many weapons. I don't think he can help but pop.
Dude, if he doesn't pop, he
falls flat.
Sucks.
Yeah.
He sucks if he doesn't pop.
We've seen, Jameis Winston and Marcus Mariota and some of these other guys that were number 1 overalls just flop. He's landing in a perfect spot.
Who went in first in that draft? Was that Mariota or Winston who went first? Because one went 1 and one went 2.
I think Winston went first. In that.
Okay, gotcha. But both of them, I mean, Mario, both backups now at this point.
Yeah.
And they were supposed to be the, two of the best quarterbacks.
Take
coming
number
out of
1
college.
and number 2.
Exactly.
I'm not expecting a backup.
Now, Mariota didn't necessarily have weapons like Caleb Williams is going to have.
Agreed.
But Jameis Winston did. He had Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see about Caleb Williams. Again, I think he has too many weapons to be bad. And if he's
agree.
bad, he doesn't belong in the NFL.
I would agree.
Blake Corum is our last name on the Fantasy Pops or Flops for rookies. I'm going flop. I think that's an easy one, to be honest.
I think so too.
He's going to be a committee back, if not like a 25 and 75% back, because Kyron Williams is the guy there, I think.
Kyron Williams, 1,000 yards.
Second most rush yards in the league, I think,
He had
right?
15 total touchdowns last year as a rookie.
Sheesh.
And you got Kupp and Nakua to feed.
Yeah.
So I think they're going to be more pass-oriented for Corum to kind of get his due.
Yeah.
And I think they'll ease him in as a rookie because Kyron Williams is your number 1 option. Maybe he pops second half of the year if Kyron gets hurt and they want to introduce him more into the lineup.
That's a conditional pop, though. We're talking,
correct.
in a conventional way. Standard conventional NFL season. He's not popping. He's flopping.
I agree.
All right, we're gonna go into another segment. I think it's gonna be pretty fun. Where did he go to college is what it's called. So we're doing this is just a funny kind of inside joke between me and Jack and a bunch of people that we know. Just talking football all the time, bringing up stats and talking about old games. For whatever reason, Jack knows like every coach ever from whatever season you can come up with and every college that everyone has ever gone to. So we're going to see just how good he is at coming up with.
Oh, wow. You put me on the spot
Putting you on the spot.
Come on.
Where did he go to college? We'll start off with.
Oh, gosh. Come on.
All right. So where did he go to college? NFL edition. We're starting off with Larry Fitzgerald.
Pitt.
Nope. Unless he transferred. I thought you would get this one.
Larry Fitzgerald did not go to Pitt?
I mean, let me just double check on Google real quick. Fitzgerald. Larry Fitzgerald. College. He went to... Oh, did I do my research wrong? I did my research wrong. He went to Pitt. I don't know what I found. I had him going...
Kaboom!
Where did I find him going to Georgia?
Negative.
Fitzgerald College. Yeah, he went to Pitt. I'm sorry. All right. This one's easy. Marshawn Lynch.
Marshawn Lynch, I think, maybe not easy. Did he go to...
I thought it was easy.
Cal?
Yeah, he did.
Okay.
I thought it was going to be easy because he played with Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
All right. Ben Roethlisberger.
He went to Miami of Ohio.
He went to, Miami University. Not University of Miami, but Miami University.
Of Ohio.
Of Ohio, yeah.
Just to differentiate.
Yes. Cam Chancellor.
Part of me wants to say Georgia, but the other part of me knows he went to a smaller school. Virginia Tech.
Yep. You got it.
Why did I think he went to
Tech.
Georgia?
I don't know. Maybe because I said Larry Fitzgerald went to Georgia.
No.
All right, here's a fun one. Darrelle Revis.
Ooh, you might have me on that one. Darrelle Revis. Oh, you might have me on that. Darrelle Revis. Oh, come on. I think you got me.
Did I get you on that one?
Yeah.
All right, I'll give you one hint, but it's going to give it away. Same.
USC.
Nope. He went to the same school as Larry Fitzgerald.
He went to Pitt?
Yeah. Well, is University of Pittsburgh the same thing
Yes,
as Pitt?
son of a
he went
gun.
to Pitt. All right, two more. Wes Welker.
That one's actually fairly easy. I remember him running back punts for Texas Tech.
Yep, Texas Tech. You got it. And last one, Jerome Bettis.
Notre freaking Dame.
Damn. All right.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You're 6 for 7.
6 for 7. I
That's
missed
freaking
Darrell
good.
Revis.
That's
Damn!
really good, actually. Oh, man.
Oh, man. I tell you what, you could have let me think about Darrell Revis for another half hour. I wouldn't have gotten it.
Oh, my gosh.
I forgot. I did not know where he went.
All right. Well,
Dadgummit.
that, I mean, 6 out of 7 is pretty freaking good.
I think we should make this a semi-recurring.
All right.
I love this.
I'm fine with that. That'll be fun.
And by the way, no coaching went on before this.
No. I didn't even tell him who we were talking about.
So I had no idea what was going on here.
All right, let's move into some mini games. We're going to start off with what do you have? 2 truths and a lie and 2 trivias?
I have 2 truths and a lie. I have a
1 trivia?
trivia and a dude, what are you talking about?
All right, we're going to skip dude, what are you talking about? We're going to just do trivias.
Okay.
I'll start with my trivias.
All right.
So we'll go back, forth.
Sure.
All right. Do you know how much money George Halas bought the Bears for in 1920?
In 1920,
Yep.
$50,000.
You're very wrong.
Oh my God.
Think of the most absurd amount of money that you can possibly concoct in your brain. I'm not going to tell you which end it's at, but whether it's high or low.
$1,000.
You're close.
$500.
The franchise the franchise fee was $100.
In 1920.
In 1921, the
Oh.
Staley Starch Company gave Halas the team $5,000 and they basically paid him and permission to move the team to Chicago if he would agree to keep the Staley's name for a year. The Staleys won the 1921 league championship, and a year later, the team was renamed to the Chicago Bears.
Wow.
$100, and George Halas was one of the richest
100.
men on the planet.
You can't even buy a beer at the stadium for $100 anymore.
Yeah, dude, that's pretty crazy.
That's crazy.
All right, hit me.
Okay. Since the year 2000, only 4 players drafted number 1 overall have won a Super Bowl. Can you name 2 of them?
2 of them, 1 overall. And what was the year?
Since 2000.
Since 2000.
Yeah, so last
The
20,
number 1
last
overall
23
have
years.
won a Super Bowl.
2 of them. Two of them.
2 out of 4.
2 of them you could get. The other 2 are extremely obscure.
Really?
Yes. You
Trent Dilfer was drafted number 1 overall.
won't negative. Doesn't so the 2 that I'm expecting you to get are in fact quarterbacks.
I was gonna say they're probably quarterbacks.
One of the other ones is a quarterback that you probably would
Wait.
never think of.
Won a Super Bowl or what started in the Super Bowl and won it? That's a differentiator. All right, so Sam Darnold went number 1 overall, didn't he? No, he didn't.
The 2 that yes, he did.
He did.
The 2
But
the 2 that I'm expecting you to get both started Super Bowls.
started Super Bowls.
The other quarterback actually backed up one of the quarterbacks that won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and I think it's Patrick Mahomes that he backed up, but or no. Jimmy Garoppolo didn't go number 1 overall. I know that.
Nope.
They were too good to have the number 1 overall pick, but he was a 5th. I don't remember where he went. He might have went in the second.
One
round,
was pretty
first, second
recent, and one was
round. All right. So it wasn't Sam Darnold because I think he's on the Niners and they lost. They haven't won a Super Bowl in a while.
correct.
Quarterbacks. It's got to be early years for one of them at least.
Yep.
I don't think
And in fact, he won 2 of them.
I don't think Ben Roethlisberger went 1 overall, did he?
He went. This quarterback won 2 of them.
1, 2 of them. Was Eli Manning the first quarterback in the draft?
Yes, he
Oh,
was.
okay, interesting. All right. I was gonna go Ben, but I was like, yeah, I don't think he went first overall.
He did not.
So what was it? It was Eli, and then immediately after was Phillip Rivers. Now, and then they swapped places.
Yeah, so
Something like that,
Eli
right?
basically
Was like, I'm not
wormed his
playing for
way
the
out of
Chargers.
San Diego.
Yeah,
Yes,
I'm not playing for the Chargers. All right, and then I think the next one is probably the one of the more recent.
more recent.
quarterbacks.
Yep.
Peyton Manning was not since 2000. He was drafted in 99, I think.
98.
98.
Correct.
Drew Brees was a late pick.
No one. This
was
guy.
he-
This guy. So this guy was drafted a while back and only recently won the Super Bowl
Oh, really?
as a number one pick.
Interesting.
He was drafted
Only recently.
back when.
Was it Matthew Stafford?
You got it.
Ah, nice.
Yes, nicely done. So the other
Now
two.
I'm gonna try to guess the backup quarterback.
You'll never.
Never.
If,
I could guess 100 times and I'd never get him.
probably.
He was drafted recently, though. I'm assuming.
that backed up Eli.
Oh, really? So backed up Eli. Oh, was Tyrod Taylor the first overall draft pick?
Oh no.
No, because I know Tyrod Taylor has a Super Bowl ring, but I don't know if he. I don't think he played with under.
I'll give you a hint.
No,
His brother is a starting quarterback in the NFL now.
his brother.
Yeah.
I don't know.
David Carr.
David Carr.
Yes.
he has a Super Bowl ring.
He was
The backup.
he was Eli's
for-
backup.
He was the backup for Eli Manning.
Yes.
Interesting.
And the other guy, the fourth guy was Eric Fisher, who was a lineman.
Yeah, I never would have got that.
No.
Oh my gosh. All right, that was fun actually.
Yeah, that wasn't bad. All right.
Oh man, David Carr.
Yeah.
I think he could have been a really good quarterback on a
He
good
played
team.
on the Texans when
they were
were
really bad.
brutally bad.
He
yeah.
could. His football knowledge is actually insane.
Yeah.
Like he's a very smart quarterback, but he just got the
He got the short end.
short end of the stick.
No doubt.
Yeah. All right, this one I think might be easy, but we'll run it by you anyways.
All right.
Can you name the only team to have a 4,000-yard passer in the 14 game era?
Joe Namath.
Yep. You got it. We've talked about him before.
Yeah, that's true.
I was going to say that one's probably an easy
that
one.
was kind of a cheater. Yeah, but and the fact he did it in a 14 game season, that's pretty
He did.
impressive.
However, the Jets are the only team to have a QB pass for 4,000 yards in the 14 game era, but are one of only two teams to never have accomplished that feat in the 16 game era.
Yes.
Who's the other team?
Obviously,
The Bears.
Caleb Williams is going to take
Yep,
that.
The Bears. The Bears.
The Bears.
All right.
All
So
right.
you got a two truths and a lie for
Bouncing
me, and then
on
we're
to
going to wrap it
Two
up.
truths and a lie. Okay. First, Larry Fitzgerald has more tackles in his career than dropped passes. Second, CJ Stroud holds the rookie record for passing yards in a season. Third, Peyton Manning holds the rookie record for interceptions in a season. So you got
All right. So I know one of them for certain, and this is not because I ever happened upon it or because we were doing the same research or something like that. I've known for a long time that Larry Fitzgerald has had more career tackles than drops, which is an absurd stat, but that's true.
that is amazing.
Now, I also am pretty sure that Peyton Manning holds the record for rookie interceptions no, he doesn't, because Sam Howell he wasn't a rookie. All right, now I got to figure this out. I believe Peyton Manning had 21 interceptions in his rookie year, or 18, something like that. Now, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that Justin Herbert holds the record for passing yards by a rookie quarterback. That's my answer.
So you're close on a lot of things, but you were correct. CJ Stroud does not hold the rookie record for passing
But
yards.
it's not Justin Herbert.
It's Andrew Luck.
That's respectable.
Correct. Justin Herbert, I think, is second.
Probably. He had 4,000 something yards.
Yes. And Peyton Manning holds the rookie record for interceptions in a season with 28.
28.
Ow,
Oh my! I
28.
thought he had 22 or
Yeah,
something.
28. Ow.
And Herbert also one of the few quarterbacks, I think one of 10 to throw for 5,000 yards. in a
that's
season.
correct.
So
Stud quarterback.
really good.
Protect
and you know what's
him and give him somebody to throw to and take away all the dumb coaches that have
Oh my gosh.
he's been inflicted with his entire
Yes.
career.
You know what's crazy? I've been seeing a lot of Justin Herbert smack on social media lately. I'm like, dude, he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. He's just in the worst system ever.
And the one year,
How?
his one down year, he was playing with broken ribs and a sore
Yeah.
shoulder all season.
Dude, he's a really good
He
quarterback.
is fantastic. Stats wise, you got to put him up in probably the top 7.
6 or 7, yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know how you couldn't. And then it's just like his defense has never been good. Joey Bosa's always freaking hurt. Khalil Mack's hurt. And
Dude, they blew a 30-point lead to the Jaguars or something, whatever that was.
And their
in
coaching,
the playoffs.
their coaching is just abysmal. It's clearly nothing different than when Phillip Rivers was there.
It's
So
just a dysfunctional organization.
it's just the Chargers organization has been bad for years. So, anyways, that's gonna do it for this episode. That was fun. Draft talk was, man. I think we have exhausted the amount of information that can go into our brains in terms of draft and whatnot, because really, we've never really dove this deep into a draft or a combine or anything like that. So
Agreed.
That was fun.
Yep.
But yeah, follow us on all our socials: TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. We're all over the place. But that's going to do it for this episode. So Tommy Touchdowns and
Razorback Jack.
signing off. We'll see you
Signing
next
off.
time.
Take care.
Peace. Thanks for listening to the Read Option Podcast, hosted by Tommy Touchdowns and Razorback Jack. Produced by me, Tommy Touchdowns. Remember to follow us on all our socials, including Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube, at the Read Option Pod.